We wake up. It's bedtime. It's past time.
Commissioner Warren Hurst in a discussion on whether Sevier County should become a gun sanctuary. His words then turn to what he describes as the liberal agenda.
We got a queer running for president.
Reactions from some in the crowd. One woman stood up, expressed her anger, and said this as she stormed out. Commissioner Hurst's comments continued, saying the white man has few rights.
I'm not prejudiced. The by golly, a white male in this country has very few rights, and they're getting taken for every day.
After the meeting, Hurst told me over the phone that he's entitled to his opinion and stands by it.
Now, if you don't, your kids and your grandkids is going to pay for what we said. That's true.
In Sevier County, Kyle Granger, WVLT News.
Okay, so y'all just heard that clip right there from this man who looks like he probably, in his heyday, probably most likely indulged in wearing a white robe that had a high hat, a high hood, I should say, and probably went to a couple of cross burnings and yards and torching of churches and homes in black areas, and probably went to a few lynch mobs himself. Would not surprise me, especially since this is coming out of Tennessee. So you heard that audio, and he basically went on two rants. He went on a rant about guns, because, you know, palm-colored males can't live without them guns. But then he switched it over and talked about Pete Buttigieg. And I knew that's who he was talking about without him actually having to say the name. He said, we have a queer running for president. And then it transitioned into whites losing, to white men losing their rights. Let me tell y'all something out there. Everybody thinks that palm-colored individuals are all on one accord. I'm here to tell you that they are not. Now, the only time that they will really code up is most likely probably against us or any other group that they feel threatens their existence. But they have a lot of infighting going on. Now, Pete Buttigieg, his lifestyle aside, is a white male. He would still be classified as white. But this guy right here, this Warren Hurst, thinks that Pete Buttigieg is less than because he is a gay man. Now, I want to know from everybody who likes to say that black people are the most homophobic, I would love to hear what y'all have to say about this man, because this man got up on his platform and said that to what looks to be like a town hall meeting filled with majority white people. I think I only saw like one black person there, and he did not mince his words whatsoever. And he's not being apologetic. They said he is not going to apologize for what he said, which means he meant every word of what he said. This also right here, when he says loss of white men's rights, he basically told on himself. And the vast majority of white men, they are losing empire in this establishment from every angle. And they can't help it. They're losing it to opioids. They're losing it to mass shootings. They're losing it to low birth rates. And apparently now they're losing it to the LGBT community, because you saw what he said about that. You know, them losing their guns is another way that they said that they're losing white male rights. But he got up on his platform unapologetically and said what he said. Now I'm going to go ahead and read the article and we can get more full context. It says a county commissioner in Tennessee launched a tirade against the Democratic presidential field and the general state of white men in America on Monday during a debate about guns. Warren Hurst, who sits on the Sevier County Commission, spoke up during a discussion on an upcoming vote to become a gun sanctuary city. He told the crowd, many of whom holding little American flags, that it was time to wake up, people. We got a queer running for president. If that ain't about as ugly as you can get, he said in comments captured by Knoxville-based station WVLT. Look what we got running for president in the Democratic Party. We can go over here to Hurst jail and get better people out of there than those running for the Democratic nomination to be president of the United States. Pete Buttigieg, the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, is running in the Democratic primary. If he is elected, he will be the first openly gay president. His campaign didn't immediately return to a request for comment. At least one woman objected to Hurst's comments and stormed out, but others applauded and agreed with him. I'm not prejudiced, but by golly, a white male in this country has very few rights, and they're getting took more every day. Like I said, with that comment right there, he told on himself. Now, white males in particular have been running this establishment for eons. Let's just put it like that. And slowly but surely, it's actually getting more rapid when you think about it, is being ran right into the ground. And they can't help it. See, they cannot see themselves being second-class citizens to anybody or any group for that matter. They won't see themselves being second class to the LGBT. They won't see themselves being second class to women. They won't see themselves being second class to POC. And they for damn sure ain't going to try to see themselves be second class to our black ass. Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine what would break out if we became the majority in this establishment and toppled them as far as population goes? World War III with a combination of a second civil war would ensue all at the same damn time, if that would have happened. He says, in a follow-up interview with WVLT, he stood by his comments and noted that he has some, here it is, black friends. If that isn't, listen, why the hell would he pull out the black friends card when he made a comment against the LGBT community? He didn't make a statement against black people. He made a statement against a white gay man. But he had to use the cover of black friends, and he literally told on himself yet again that he is a racist. Because only racist white palm-colored people use that. Oh, I have a black friend. I have a black spouse. I have black grandchildren. I have black kids. My daughter's best friend is black. So on and so forth. HuffPost repeatedly attempted to contact Hurst, but his line was busy. His line was probably disconnected. Sevier County Commissioner Warren Hurst is using his position of power to publicly spew bigotry against LGBTQ people who are very likely his own constituents. A group of people having rights doesn't take away those of another, said Nick Morrow, a spokesman with the LGBTQ equality group Human Rights Campaign. Morrow grew up one county over from Sevier, but with LGBT people running for office at every level of government and more people voting for candidates who support equality, he should be more worried about losing his seat than losing his rights. To be honest, with someone that with that much hate in his heart, he probably doesn't give a damn about losing his seat. As long as he has a platform to spew whatever it is that he wants to talk about on there, that's all that matters, because a lot of them only care about having a platform because that's the only way they can get their voice heard. Now, as far as I'm concerned, his gripe is with the LGBT community and is more so probably with the white ones. But then you'll have some of the black ones try to jump in there because, you know, a lot of them see them as their guide. You don't have to worry about me jumping into this. The only reason I'm doing this video is because I wanted to call out the hypocrisy, because I know that certain people ain't going to call it out. But if this was a black man that got up there and said the same exact things that he said, or maybe rearranged the words a little bit, but it was on the same context, they would have been saying black men are the most homophobic people. They are the most hateful people. They don't support equality. They don't support gay rights. They don't support trans rights and all this type of stuff. But with him, well, he may lose his seat. That's about as much as they're going to get. He may lose his seat. He probably works with people who live that lifestyle. That's all he's going to get. That's the only tongue lashing he's going to get and receive. Or you'll have some people say, I didn't hear about this. You know, that's a lot of people go-to things. And a lot of people who say they never heard something like this, they be lying their ass off. They know good and goddamn well they probably heard about this, especially if they live near and around that general area. But they know not to push back against someone like that because they've been conditioned not to. Or, and this is another one, you'll have people probably in the black LGBT community that'll find a way to spin this and throw it back into black people's faces, preferably black heterosexual men. After all, look at what some of them did with the whole Jason Pope thing and tried to make it seem like it was black men's fault that those 700 plus women, black females, went to Jason Pope and got a life-altering STD. But like I said, this is their fight. Let them deal with this if they can. But like I've said before, two things before I cut off this recording. One, palm-colored people are not as united as you think they are. You see it right here. And two, this is their issue. Don't try to jump into this dust up that he has contributed. But it also says another point that they are some of the most homophobic people on the planet. Now remember, there was an incident that happened back in Charlotte a few years ago with the All-Star game with the restroom, and then they got riled up and they moved it at the last minute to New Orleans. And remember, that was mostly white males on a political board. What is this guy right here, a white male on a pretty much all white board, saying stuff like this against a person who is running for president, which I highly doubt he will win. I'm just being honest. So he could have actually saved that rant, because I highly doubt that Pete Buttigieg would actually win. But that's something he felt he had to say. He had to get it off of his chest. But like I said, because he is a palm-colored man and he lives in Tennessee, and it's pretty obvious that he leans to the right conservatively. But let's play devil's advocate and say that he's a Democrat, which I doubt. He cannot see a white gay man being president. He would probably endure another 4 years of Obama before he endures 4 years of a white gay male. That's basically, in a nutshell, what he's saying. And then I think he tried to conjuncture it in with the gun situation and saying, oh, because he's a gay man, then he's going to be very soft on the gun thing, and he's going to or be more critical on it like a woman would, and try to take their guns' rights away. It's a host of things that can literally factor into this, but it pretty much all goes back to the same thing. This guy is definitely a racist, and he could be thrown into the category of homophobic, but a certain group will not actually call him to the carpet. And like I said, he's very unapologetic. He's not going to take back what he said. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I'll talk to you in the next one.